So this morning, I want to give you one word, and if you remember nothing else, the one word that I want to give you is the word invitation. Can you repeat that for me? Invitation. Father Kevin and Father Anthony have chosen this as the theme for 2024, the season of Lent. Now, even as young as you are, you have received invitations to go to your friends' birthday parties. Or perhaps you have some friends that you know well enough that you get invited to have a sleepover at their house. And so we know the understanding of invitation. Now, I want to tell you a little story about a mom who extends an invitation to her son. So the conversation goes like this. The mother, it's a Sunday morning, and she says to her son, "Get up out of that bed and get ready, we're going to Mass." So after a little while, there was no movement in the bedroom, and so the mom says again to her son, "Listen, I told you, it's time for Mass. Get up and get out of that bed and get ready." The son says to his mother, "Mommy says, I'm not going to church today. I don't like them, and they don't like me." And she said, "Well, son, that's too bad, but get up and go to get ready for Mass, because you're the parish priest, and get over there for church." And so that was an invitation she gave, but it was more of a demand for her son to go and celebrate the Eucharist. We're going to continue now and remembering this one word, because next week Father Kevin or Father Anthony may ask you, "What did you learn last week in church?" And you're going to say the word. What's the word? Invitation. Thank you so much. So we heard very clearly on the first Sunday of Lent that even Jesus himself was faced with temptation. Temptation, I believe, is a fact of life. It is everywhere. It's all around us. And nobody, not one of us in this church this morning, in the face of temptation, is strong. Many of us are tempted, but maybe take comfort that even Jesus himself was tempted. But I think we need always to be careful and to be vigilant to check where temptation might be leading us. Again, I want to share with you a little story. And there's a story about a husband who was struggling to make ends meet at home on one salary. So one day he had to confront his wife with a receipt for a $250 dress that she had purchased. And he said to his wife, "How could you do this? You know how tight money is." And his wife replied, "I was outside of the store, and I looked in the window and I saw this dress, and then I found myself trying it on," she explained. "It was like Satan was whispering in my ear, 'You look fabulous in that dress. Buy it.' Well, the husband replied, 'You know how I deal with this kind of temptation? I say, 'Get behind me, Satan.' And his wife replied, 'I did. But then he said, it looks fabulous from my back, too.'" It was the wonderful Saint Augustine, who said one time that we do not know ourselves except by trial and temptation. A person can have a self-image, perhaps, of being strong or self-controlled or brave or gentle or loving, but when a temptation comes along, they can find out something different about themselves. Consider with me for a moment this, about how a wolf attacks a sheep. And did you know that you would think that the quickest way to bring the sheep down would be to attack its legs and make it stumble? But reportedly, that is not the wolf's normal method. And I was reading that normally the wolf goes for the neck. And when he gets his teeth into the neck of the sheep cannot bleat. So it cannot make a noise to call for the shepherd. The devil does something similar in our lives. And we don't hear about the devil very much. When we were growing up as kids, we'd have these fire and brimstone homilies. And some people have come and said, that perhaps the devil is just a figment of our imagination. Well, let me tell you, the evil one is present in our midst all of the time. And he, Satan or the devil or the evil one, he wants to disable our voice so that we do not call out to the Lord. Have you ever noticed, folks, that when you try to set aside time to pray, we're asked during the holy season for 3 disciplines: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Now, when you try to set aside time to pray, at least for me, something always comes up. All of a sudden, you remember some chore or some person you should talk to, or better yet, you want to take a quick look at your television or to go on to the internet, and there goes prayer. The devil will do almost anything to keep us, you and me, from praying. And many families over the years have told me about the trials, like in that little story at the beginning, they have to go through on a Sunday morning getting ready for Mass. Do you think that these things are just a coincidence? No, they're not at all. Rather, it's something else. Whenever we give in to a temptation, folks, it takes power from us. But when we resist a temptation, we take power from it. The devil or Satan or the evil one, as I'm choosing to call, wants to take power from us. But when we resist him in our lives, we gain strength. We become stronger. Our temptations hopefully teach us how weak we really are. But there is someone we can rely upon always if we unite ourselves to the person of Jesus Christ. We can always achieve true happiness. And so, using that word I gave to the children, let me extend an invitation to each of you to think about these things during the coming week. And may you leave Mass here today and focus on the knowledge that while temptation is all around us, hopefully you will recognize it and turn it around as fuel for your journey of faith. Amen.